So we're going into Red Rocks because we're in Vegas, baby. So not everybody goes into Red Rocks because they're sweating on the strip. We're gonna go up into those beautiful red hills and do a little painting. First, we're gonna go to the visitor center because I'm a sucker for park rangers and visitor centers. Paint this Joshua tree with calico mountains in the distance. And then there's also a yucca tree right there. I think it's just a perfect thing. Hiked off the road just a little bit. The only thing that's really dangerous around here are 3 types of rattlesnakes, which I'm very equipped for, as you can see with my shorts. and then of course tourists. Tourists are pretty dangerous. Let's see if we can make something beautiful. I love using these shop towels. I used to buy cheap paper towels, but buy it nice or buy it twice, right? Doesn't last. These shop towels I can just use over and over and over again, and they just become like cloth when they get wet with whether it be turpentine, paint thinner, water, whatever. All right, enough talking. I'm ready to begin. Again, I never really start on white. I'm going to look at this whole general scene, the color. What color do I sense? For me, it's just in the earth tones. So a little bit of ochre and cheat, a little bit of red, and a lot of turpentine, and we'll just go for it. I know the sky is blue, but the overall feeling to me is this. This just expedites the drawing process. Obviously, oil paint does not really dry for very long, and it definitely doesn't cure for very quickly. So, but this will be dry enough to start painting on top of it. Is squint a lot. You'll see artists do that, and it's because you're trying to diffuse some of the local color and try to see more of contrast and value within the colors. And what I do is I close one eye and squint the other, because if I try to squint both, I can get a little double vision. But just play with it. But you should definitely squint a lot. You should also stand back a lot because you get sucked into this vacuum of painting and all the details, when really what we want to create are the beautiful shapes, the atmospheric color, what it feels like to be here. Don't focus on the detail. Like you can see the Joshua tree right there. I'm just playing with basic shapes right now. I'm not going after detail. I'm going to start blocking in the background now, and also because it's my painting, I've chosen to not paint the bluish mountains behind the red ones, at least for now, because of how I blocked this out. I want my focus to be on the Joshua tree and not the distant mountains. The other thing is that there's a natural subtle slope descending from left to right with the Joshua tree, and you can do that a lot with your actual brush stroke direction. So I've come in here now and actually have told your eye, at least I hope, to follow that slope instead of painting it level. The other thing is I'm using just a beat up old haggard bristle brush. This is my go-to. I love it to just be really rough and aggressive with it. And after I get everything covered up, I might come in with a softer brush to just do some nice touches, because if I stay aggressive, all I'm going to do is just mix all the colors up and create mud. Now I'm going to start going in with a little more detail. I already played with the value in the mountains. Again, I'm just capturing the feeling of it. This is a plein air painting. I should not be focused on extreme detail. And I'm using a softer brush now. This is actually ear hair from a cow. These are super soft and kind of unwieldy, but I find they do great things on top of my foundation. So right now I'm just looking at balance of certain values out there. Starting to hone in on a little bit of detail, but not too much. As you can see in the shadow of the Joshua tree, one could say that looks black, but it's not black. It's a super dark greenish purple, and it has some character to it. And so that yucca tree in the distance, there's a lot of shadow about right there. So I'm just going to block that in. And then on the right side, right there, block that in. But because it's ascending, now I'm going to just flick it up, create the illusion of ascension. And because it's my painting, I can make it look the way I want it to. So the other thing that I do is I wear gloves. I get paint on me a lot, but not like my students. I don't get it on my face and stuff. But you know, 50 plus years, if you're painting and you're getting cadmium and titanium on your skin and it's absorbing, it's not a good thing. So you know, I could use some white gloves out here and it might not be as hot, but whatever. But I think it's important to protect yourself. This little round brush. It's actually meant for acrylics, but whatever. It's a really cheap brush. Because I'm going to go into this yucca tree back there and get some of those little downward, little old sheddings. There's probably some tarantulas living in there. Definitely some down on this Joshua tree. Just trying to create, again, a feeling of a Joshua tree and a yucca tree. I haven't really played with the greens yet, but I'll get there. Just be like a sword fighter with your paintbrush. Just put it in there and just flick around. And don't overload it. Do a couple of flicks. Load your brush. A couple more flicks. And load your brush. Because if you don't reload your brush, you're going to just make a lot of the same color and you're going to have a brown painting. That was a little too long, but that's okay. You can always go in with your finger and soften stuff up. Another cool thing about a tiny little round brush is to do tree branches. And I'm not going to copy that little sticky thing over there, but I'm just going to capture the feeling. And if I just kind of twist my brush and then flick it up, and also if you use a little bit of turpentine or paint thinner or whatever you got, just to kind of give it a little bit of a thing. Also, it's good for making some grasses. And right now I'm not reloading the brush because I do want to create some diffused colors and some grasses to draw the eye. So these little round brushes come in handy, but definitely don't start with them because detail comes at the end. Of course, I'm suggesting I'm at the end, which I'm not, but you can have a lot of fun with those tree branches. Now I'm gonna focus on the yucca tree back there, and with the blades I'm gonna go in a little bit of detail. So again, I said that I'm going to do a little cheating with some colors already coming out of the tube. So I got some sap green here. I'm going to use a little bit of cadmium yellow, get that rich green, light green color. And I don't want it to be too pure, so I'm going to use the complement, and the complement of green is red, so just a little bit of red in there to deaden it down. Come up here to the yucca tree, and this is when I'm going to be a little less spazzy. Just try to be slightly gentle with laying in some of those beautiful sword-shaped fronds. And I'm not going to go over there and count how many there are. I'm just going to suggest a little bit of the fronds. You see that? And as I blend into my dark color and flick it up, the colors mix on their own, but I only do one and then I reload my brush. And I don't want to do too many because now I'm going to desaturate this color a little bit more with some more cadmium lemon yellow. And rather than mixing into the whole pile, I'm just going to create a little satellite color over here. Add just a titch of white so that the opacity is kicked up a little bit. And I'll do a little tester. See if I like that, and I do. And I think just maybe one more, and I'm going to call this bad boy done back there. Except for the shadows that are in the dead fronds where the tarantulas are living. So my composition obviously is long done. My blocking in is long done. I've put in all my darkest darks. I did put in some lightest lights. And now I'm starting to look less and less at the true landscape and more at my painting and just make it work. So right now I'm starting to put in these little really dusty lemon yellows. There's overall a kind of a dusty rose feeling out there too, but with the sage or whatever that stuff is, to me it feels kind of blue. So I'm going to keep playing with those colors, but I'm also going to let a lot of my initial canvas color come through here and there. I'm not going to be too contriving about it. I'm just going to let it be, but I'm not going to feel like I got to cover it all up, because it does create an overall harmony with the background colors as well. So even this orange is coming through on the yucca tree. You know, I like that. That's just a little, as Bob Ross would say, a happy accident, but I like that. So I'm going to keep that. So here we go. I'm going to play with a lot of desaturated tones of yellow, and again, mix up these little satellite colors rather than building it all into the whole pool, because these little desaturated transitions can make a nice flowing painting. See how light that is compared to what I put up there? It's in the same color family, but I created a little satellite color. Now adding a little bit of green and just having fun dancing around the canvas. You don't need to be perfect. Capture what it feels like. So I'm getting really close to being done, because again, I want it fresh and alive. I don't want it over labored. So now I'm going to do a little bit of detail with the little scattered rocks all over the place, but again, I'm going to suggest them. So this is what I do. I create a kind of a dark shadow color, and to me the shadows are blue-ish. And so for example, I choose where the light's coming from, which is from right to left, and I'm just going to put down a few little shadows. And then when I put the actual rock color on, they're all kinds of colors, but let's just take this one. There's a rock. And there's a rock. And there's a little rock. So I'm just going to kind of keep doing that all over the place, make the rocks slightly different colors, but again, you have to have shadows. So if you feel like your shadows got covered up, well then just bring in a little more dark and recreate the shadow and have it kind of cast off onto the ground, because that's what shadows do. So that's a plein air sketch, but sometimes sketches are better than like really finished paintings in the studio, right? On the spot, it's a beautiful, beautiful landscape, and oddly enough, not one single tourist. I made it out alive. Thanks for watching.